Hey, I get it, you're standing in front of the lab equipment aisle, or scrolling through endless Amazon pages, wondering if you're about to waste hard-earned money on a centrifuge that sounds good on paper but won't actually fit into your workflow. You need to know whether this little machine will really do what you need, or if you're just adding another piece of equipment that gathers dust. The Eppendorf 5424 with the FA452411 rotor is one of those compact, silent options that shows up in a lot of recommendations, but does it deserve a spot on your bench? Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First, let's picture a typical day for a molecular biology graduate student or a small clinic lab. You've got a handful of 1.5 milliliters or 2 milliliters microcentrifuge tubes. You're running PCR prep, plasmid mini preps, or routine blood plasma spins, and you need something that won't dominate your countertop. The 5424 measures only about the size of a standard desktop printer, so it slots in nicely between your incubator and your benchtop shaker. That footprint is a real advantage if you're working in a cramped space. No one wants a tower-like centrifuge forcing you to rearrange the whole room. Speed is where a lot of people start to compare specs. This unit cranks up to 15,000 revolutions per minute, which translates to roughly 20,000 G for a 2 milliliters tube. For most routine workflows like pelleting bacterial cells, precipitating nucleic acids, or clarifying lysates, that level of RCF is more than enough. In practice, I've seen users finish a spin in about a minute for a typical 1-minute protocol, which saves you a few seconds compared to a slower 10,000 revolutions per minute model. The real benefit isn't the raw number, it's the consistency. Because the motor is housed in a well-designed enclosure, the speed ramps up smoothly, and you can trust the displayed RPM to be accurate within a tight tolerance, reducing the need for repeat spins. Now, silence is another hidden but critical factor. In environments where you have a shared space, a loud whine can be a nuisance for anyone trying to focus on delicate pipetting or a microscope readout. The 5424 lives up to the very silent operation claim. When it's running at full speed, the noise level stays below the chatter of a typical lab workstation, and the vibration is almost imperceptible on the bench. That means you can leave it running while you're analyzing results on a nearby computer without hearing a constant hum. In my own experience, the lack of vibration also means the rotor stays balanced, which in turn reduces wear on the tubes and prevents the occasional tube cracking that can happen with more rickety machines. Let's talk about the rotor itself. The FA452411 holds 24 microcentrifuge tubes, each either 1.5 milliliters or 2 milliliters. That capacity is perfect for batch processing. A typical plasmid prep might need you to spin 12 tubes, and you have room to double up without having to reload. The design is also fairly forgiving. The tube slots are wide enough that you don't have to fuss over perfect alignment, yet tight enough to keep the tubes from wobbling during acceleration. Some users who need to run larger volume tubes like 5 milliliters or 15 ml will quickly find this rotor limiting, but for the intended micro-range applications it's spot on. Power consumption is another practical concern. At 250 W and a single-phase 120 V input, the unit draws a modest amount of electricity. In a shared lab where you might have many devices plugged into the same circuit, the 5424 won't trip breakers or force you to rearrange outlets. It also means the startup time is quick. You can pull the knob and begin a spin in seconds, which is a small but appreciated convenience when you're juggling multiple protocols. Who should consider buying this centrifuge? If you're a graduate student, a small diagnostics lab, or even a biotech startup that needs a reliable workhorse for routine microcentrifuge spins, the 5424 delivers a solid combination of size, speed, and quiet operation. It's also a good fit for teaching labs where students will run multiple low-volume spins throughout a semester. The clear knob control eliminates the learning curve of more complex touchscreen interfaces, and the durability of the Eppendorf chassis holds up to frequent use. On the flip side, there are clear situations where this model isn't the right choice. If your protocols require high-throughput spinning of 96 well plates, or you regularly need to process large volume tubes, say, 5 milliliters or more, you'll quickly outgrow the 24-tube rotor. Likewise, if you are looking for an ultracentrifuge capable of 50,000 revolutions per minute or higher for sub-nanogram DNA work, the 5424 simply won't meet those demands. The knob-controlled speed setting, while intuitive, also lacks the fine digital resolution that some advanced applications require. If you need to set exact RCF values down to the single-digit level, you might prefer a unit with a digital interface. Now, let's consider the practical strengths and weaknesses that most people overlook. A strength that becomes apparent after a few weeks of daily use is the ease of cleaning. The top lid opens fully, giving